What's going on today, everybody? Got another video for you. Today we're going to look at mechanical keyboards, and I'm going to try to keep this as condensed as possible, but it might run a little bit long, so let's just get into it. Okay, everybody, so if you're watching this, you probably really don't own a mechanical keyboard, and if you do, maybe you don't know what the difference is between the Cherry MX switches. There's a ton of options out there. You've got Gator-on switches, weird light switches on some Logitech products, everything. It's getting crazy. So we're going to keep it focused. We're going to talk about the quintessential mechanical keyboard with Cherry MX switches. No, we're not going to be talking about the Model M from IBM. Sorry, no loud bucking springs. Here we go. So, in front of me I've got a K83 from Gigabyte with blue switches. I also have, this is a broken keyboard, mind you, so it's missing keycaps. This is a Max Keyboard Nighthawk X8, I believe, with browns, and then my K65 Lux with Cherry MX Reds. So let's talk about the differences here. So I'm going to do a dive down and just kind of do a voiceover so you can really get the differences between the key switches, the sound. I'll talk about the feel for each one a little bit while I have each in front of me. And I'm going to try to keep this scientific. So what you're going to hear when I'm doing the click demonstration, you're going to hear the sound of the switches and of the keycaps, because under some keyboards, like my main keyboard, you can't really see it, but there's a little O-ring underneath every single keycap to dampen out the bottom outs. Now, what's a bottom out, you're probably asking? Bottom out is this. Number one, you shouldn't type that heavy-handed. You should type something along these lines, give or take, but that's bottoming out. On this, it's a lot quieter because there's a little rubber cushion, so to speak, to keep it from bottoming out. So we're going to dive down. You're going to hear that through this mic while I'm typing to just kind of show you what it sounds like. You're also going to hear it up close with the Audio-Technica microphone. I'm going to have that rigged up here so you can get that. And then you're going to hear a sample of just individual key switches with and without caps, and then typing. So here we go. We're going to dive down. All right, we've got the camera set up in our position here. We're going to go from quietest to loudest, Cherry MX Reds being quietest of the three that I have here. Then we're going to go to Cherry MX Browns and Cherry MX Blues. I'd also like to apologize for any dust or anything on these keyboards. It's just the nature of having a dog that lives in the house. You know, the sheds, gets everywhere. Not much I can do about it other than constantly clean them. And I literally just cleaned this when I started filming, but such is life. All right, so testing methodology is very simple. I've got the Rode Video Micro on the camera, which I'll switch between the different audios so you can hear how it sounds. Now, the camera mic is basically going to be what you'd hear in a room environment. So if you have someone who's, sleeping on a bed, if you have a roommate or husband or wife or what have you, that's going to kind of mirror that sound. I've got the Audio-Technica 2035 sitting right next to the keyboard, about 4 inches away from the actual escape key. So I'm going to be doing a lot of the demonstration on a single key, and then I'll be doing typing demonstrations. And the last mic is my lavalier mic, which will be picking up the sound from a seated position, which would mirror kind of what your friends would hear if using a headset microphone on Discord, Ventrilo, things like that. The only caveat with the typing demonstrations is on the Cherry MX Red, I'm not going to swap all the keycaps out so you can hear what keys bottoming out sounds like, because that sound will be very similar to the Browns. We're going to talk about that. I'll have little animations to help make everything a little bit easier, so stick with me. Sorry, I know this is getting a little long-winded. So here we go. We're going to go and do it. First keyboard first. We are going to do the Cherry MX Red, the K65. One more thing to talk about before we jump into these keyboards. There is a difference in keycaps. You have your ABS keycaps and your PBT keycaps, as well as double shots. The difference, basically, the keycaps on this K65 are ABS, and they shine up and get kind of nasty. You can see on like the WASD keys, they have kind of like a greasy sheen to it. That's not really from greasy hands, that's just from the keycaps getting worn out. My Nighthawk down here, I believe, has PBT keycaps, because even though they have a little bit of shine, they still are grippy and tactile. And then obviously the Gigabyte, the cheapest of the ones, is an ABS keycap as well. So like I said, we are going to talk about the keycaps a little bit, just on that caveat, but here I want to give you guys a close-up of the little bumper that I was talking about here. All right, so right here you guys can see the keycaps. The bottom one has the dampener on it, which you have to self-install on pretty much every single keyboard. So that's on there. The top one is a standard bone stock keycap without that. So you'll hear a difference in the bottoming out in the demonstrations when I tell you this has the bumper, this does not. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get into that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go into Cherry MX Reds first. And here we go. We're going to cycle between the mics. So this is just the key switch, no keycap. Here is a keycap with no bumper underneath to silence the key bottoming out. And lastly, the keycap with the bumper. And now just a quick typing demonstration. On to the venerable Cherry MX Browns. Here we go. We're going to start again. No keycap. Right there. Microphone is in the same position. And here we go. So browns between reds. Browns, as the animation will show, there's a little tiny hump that is activated where the contact pins inside the switch actually right over this little ridge before completing the circuit. So you do have a tactile feel without a lot of noise for it. So it's kind of the perfect middle ground switch in my book because it's between the kind of, unfortunately, I hate to say it, the lifeless feel of the Cherry MX Reds and the super lively feel of the Cherry MX Blues. This is a good happy middle ground. Now this does have the same activation force as the Cherry MX Reds, so the feel is going to be the same as far as how much force it takes to actually activate a key press. But having a bump midway through allows you to feel where the key actually resets. So if you're a key spammer, you can actually feel that little ridge and ride the ridge. And I do like that. That is a thing that I love about Browns. Not to disparage my red, because I love my Cherry MX Reds, but Browns have a near and dear place in my heart. So here we go. We're going to do this test here. No keycap, just the key switch. So here we go. Here it is with a keycap with no dampener underneath it. And here is a key cap with a dampener. All right, now let's do a typing demonstration on this keyboard so you can hear what it would sound like with going through, Discord vents and things like that. All right, so you'll notice the sound difference between that and the Reds. That has nothing to do with the tactile bump. That has everything to do with not having dampeners. Okay, so here we are. We are going to go talk about the Cherry MX Blue now. Now, the one thing I don't like about Cherry MX Blue for gaming specifically, as the animation will show, is that when you press the key down, the switch down, there's a little plastic liner that goes around the outside of the key switch, which is different than the Reds and the Browns. Now the problem with this is you have to push the key all the way down past the activation point and then bring it back up so that sleeve, because the way it's designed, the sleeve will reset once it's brought back up. So you really got to lift off the key and make sure you're doing the full 4 millimeters of travel. Not necessarily a huge thing, but it does equate to a loud keyboard. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and show you guys what it sounds like. And yeah, here we go. Cherry MX Blues. Here we are. Just the key switch, no keycaps. Pretty loud. All right, and here is the keycap with no dampener. Not my favorite sound in the world while I'm gaming, or if you've got a friend who has one of these keyboard and types very heavy-handed, it's super irritating. Here's how it sounds with a dampener on the key. And you can hear the difference when the key bottoms out. So here is a typing demonstration. So you can hear what Cherry MX Browns sound like when someone's going ham on them typing. Yeah, that sound can get super annoying if you have your mic set up on open mic, on Vent or Discord. So please, for the love of God, if you're one of those people, bind the mute to a mouse button. Please, 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 so we don't have to hear you going ham when you get fragged. Well, I think that pretty much covers most of the important, crucial information. There's a bunch of other stuff we could get in, like N key rollover, but we don't really need to get into that, because that's something that really, unless you're ham-handing the entire keyboard, it's just to prove a point that, yes, it can do true N key rollover. It's a whole thing. Okay, which one would I buy with my own money? That's the important question here. And I've purchased all of these with my own money, and the only reason I replaced my Nighthawk was because the keyboard controller inside the device actually took a hard dump. So you plug it in, doesn't even come up as a known device. It's not a pin out, not a solder, it's actually the controller. So that was really a bummer because this was the first mechanical keyboard that I actually loved. Before that, I had a Razer Black Widow with blues. I had a Logitech G710 with browns that I gave to a friend. And then I bought this one because I like the smaller footprint versus the G710 from Logitech. Then now I'm on this K65 Lux without a 10 key, and honestly I like the size and feel of it. I do still kind of miss my browns, but for what I primarily use my computer for, this keyboard fits my needs perfectly. And as I said, each one has their benefits and drawbacks. You just have to ask yourself, what are you looking for in a keyboard? And I think using this video I put together, I think that'll help guide you to kind of what you're looking for. All right, that's gonna do it. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you liked this video, thumbs down. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what you like, don't like. I do my best to provide better content every single video. If you haven't also, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It lets you know when I've got new videos up. If you really want to be notified, hit that little bell. It'll send a thing up on your phone or pop up on YouTube whenever you go in and say, oh, new video from HomeBrewedHero. Other than that, guys, thank you again for everything that you do. I really, really sincerely appreciate it. Thank you, and have yourselves a great day. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.